Hi everyone, Quiveen here from the comfort of my kitchen. In the past couple of videos, we have taken a look at a few different comets, and a lot of them were discovered just this year. So, for example, Comet 3I Atlas, which is an interstellar comet, it's 2025 3I Atlas. It was only discovered this year. So in order to take a look at this comet in Stellarium, I had to add it. I had to add it into Stellarium because it is so newly discovered. The same is true for a bunch of the other comets that we took a look at. Comet Lemon, which doesn't seem to be coming up at the moment, and Comet R2 Swan. So this is Comet R2 Swan. I don't think I've mentioned it in a video already. We'll come back a little bit to get the moon out of the way. So Comet Swan, we can see here, it's magnitude 9.99. So it is a little bit brighter than Comet Lemon, which is back on the other side of the sky. So we can see that there. Comet R2 Swan and Comet F2 Swan were both discovered by the Solar Wind Anisotropies instrument or device on the SOHO orbiter, the Solar Orbiter Heliosphere Observer Satellite, an ESA satellite. And I don't believe, because Comet 2025 F2 Swan was also discovered this year. Oh, here it is. It is already in Stellarium. So we can see that here as well. According to what I'm seeing here, it never rises for us in the northern hemisphere, but a lot of comets have been discovered by Swan, and these comets are discovered when they're very close to the sun, because that's where the Solar Orbiter Heliosphere Observer, the SOHO satellite, that's where it's looking. It's always looking towards the sun. But occasionally with these newly discovered objects, they need to be added into Stellarium. Stellarium might not necessarily already have them. So I'm not finding it here, which is good. If anything, that means that Stellarium doesn't already have this asteroid PN7. It doesn't already have this asteroid as an object. So we're going to have to add it into Stellarium, which you may have seen me doing. I've done it in a previous video, but I did it in the video where we took a look at the comets. I had to add one of the comets, and I did it while I was talking about something else. I just did it in the background, as it were, but we're going to try and do it again here. So this is not a comet, it is a minor planet, so hopefully it will come up written like this. So really the 7, here we go. Really the 7 is supposed to be small. It's supposed to be a subscript 7. So it's PN with a little 7 after it. And the naming system for these asteroids, these provisional designations, they're reasonably similar to the way that we name comets. So you might recall from a previous video, a recent video, that when we're naming comets, they get a letter for the half month that they're in, for normal comets, not for interstellar objects like 3I Atlas. The comet, for example, F2 Swan and R2 Swan, they were discovered in March and August. March for F and then August for R. Those were the months, the half months that they were discovered in. So F, I believe, is the second half of March, and R is the first half of August. But with the comets, it is a very similar naming system. We're going to head out to the countryside just to make this asteroid a little bit easier to see. As you can see, magnitude 25, so it's a very, very faint object, this asteroid. But there are a lot of these tiny rocks out in space, so of course, naming them can get a little bit difficult, establishing all of these provisional designations. This one, P, was discovered in the first half of August. R is the first half of September. So Comet F2 and R2 Swan, they were March and September respectively. This one was August, and these bits, the P is for the half month. N and 7 are how many of these have been discovered. So the first asteroid discovered, let's say the first asteroid discovered in January, that would be AA. And then you go through the alphabet, A, B, A, C. And once you run out of letters in the alphabet, once you get all the way to Z, you start all over again, minus a couple of letters. You go through 25 letters of the alphabet because you're not doing I. I is left out because it looks too much like 1. So this particular asteroid, we had to go through the alphabet 7 times. So 7 times 25 is 175. N is the 13th letter of the alphabet, so 188. This was the 188th asteroid discovered in the first half of August in 2025. So a lot of asteroids get discovered. What makes this one interesting is its orbit. So we're going to head out to the Solar System Observer and we're going to try and pull up the orbit of this particular asteroid and take a look at it from above. It's a particular type of asteroid, an Aruna asteroid or Aruna asteroid, which occupies an orbit that's similar to the Earth. It's an Earth-like orbit. So we'll bring up our orbit lines only for the selected object. We'll stick with only for the selected object for now, at least. Hopefully the orbit will come up. Doesn't seem to be coming up, and we can see some of those comments out there as well. Let's see if the orbit comes up for the Earth. It does. So we'll go back to the asteroid, which is too small to be seen. Here we go. And we'll go through a little bit of time here. So we can see where the Earth is and we can see where the asteroid is, and the asteroid is staying pretty close to the Earth. In fact, it almost looks like it's orbiting the Earth. This is a quasi-satellite. It's not really orbiting the Earth properly, not like our moon. It's not going to stay orbiting the Earth, and it has only been orbiting the Earth for a pretty short amount of time. If we go through enough time simulated here, eventually it will escape Earth's gravity. It will still orbit the sun reasonably similar distance from the sun as the Earth. It's still in an orbit that's going to be similar to ours. But just for the next little while, I think up to 2038. Okay, we're up to 2039, and it's not actually looping over the Earth anymore. It's gone into a slightly different kind of orbit. It's catching close to the Earth and then slowing down and pulling away again. So a different kind of quasi-satellite orbit. But if we go back in time again, here we go. We want to go back, here we go, back to 2037. Even though the orbit isn't outlined, you should be able to see that once we're back far enough in the past, it does start looping around the Earth again. The Earth is pretty much included in its orbit, so we can see that happening there. So this is an asteroid that is going to be a reasonably close companion of the Earth's for over a decade. This asteroid is going to stay reasonably close to the Earth. It's not the only one. There are other quasi-satellites, semi-satellites, micromoons, asteroids that have an orbit similar to the Earth, but aren't necessarily bound by the Earth's gravity. They're really orbiting the sun, but they are influenced by our gravity, and we can see it there being pretty close to us, and it should start moving away again as we go further into the past. Of course, this asteroid was only discovered this year, and it's one of many asteroids that were discovered just in this particular half month. So just in case we have this one, we don't have many things from 2014. No, we don't seem to have this. So we'll very quickly add it in, or at least see if we can get it to come up the exact same way we already did. So it's the Solar System Editor plugin, the minor solar system objects, import an element, and then you type in what you need to type in here. So it's 2014. I'll go with capital O, capital L, 339, which is quite a big number. And it works the exact same way. So O is for the second half of July, L is the 11th letter of the alphabet, and for this particular half month in 2014, we needed to go through the alphabet 339 times minus the number or the letter I. So very quickly here, just to save myself trying and no doubt failing to do it in my head, this is 8,475, and L is the 11th letter of the alphabet, so 8,486th asteroid discovered just in the second half of July in 2014. It's another quasi-moon. It came up while I was learning about this particular new asteroid 2025 PN9. So we'll just see if we can grab it now. We should be able to. Should have imported, but I don't seem to be seeing it. So I guess that is going to be an issue for another day. But it is an example of just how high the number of asteroids can get, even splitting them up into just half months. Often you need to go through the entire alphabet hundreds of times if thousands of objects are discovered. So that's a little bit about adding an object, and this newly discovered object, our temporary satellite, which is very, very difficult to see, but it's going to be reasonably close to the Earth for a few years now, at least. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do like it. If you like this kind of content, then please subscribe to this YouTube channel, and you can read this information on my website, queebeanscontent.ie. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you back here next time.